Good morning, everybody. What is up? We are back. I haven't shaved, I haven't ate, I just woke up, but in a continued effort to bring you guys content and help you guys continue to learn, here we are. Let's get to it. So today we're going to be talking about,
it's trade ideas.
You guessed it, 5 points to the man in the same hoodie from last week. Guys, so a couple of weeks ago I was giving out my trade ideas custom scanners. There was some people that were charging for their scanners, and you know, that really didn't sit right with me, and hey, get it how you live, but I didn't want my followers to end up paying for scanners and stuff like that, so I was making sure that I was giving mine out for free. But if somebody just gives you some sauce and you don't really know how to use that sauce, and like, you know what I mean, like you're not getting that much value from it if you're not using it properly. And to be honest, it's not actually very complicated, but today we're going to go through, we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about how I use my scanners and how I use them to min-max my trading, find setups, make money. I know there's a lot of people that are probably like,
is it worth it? Does it work? Is it gonna help me talk to that girl at the bar? Am I finally gonna have self-confidence? Will I no longer be depressed?
I don't know about all that, guys, but I could definitely tell you that from the start of my career, this has been the one thing that has been there since day one. I mean, and it's been the one thing that I've opened every day, that I've had the whole time that I've been trading, and it's just always been there. So I think there's a lot of value here, or else I wouldn't keep paying for it. Also, real quick, for those of you that are new to trading and don't know what trade ideas is, or if you aren't new to trading and just live under a fucking rock, Trade Ideas is basically a stock scanning platform, and you can make custom scanners to kind of cater to your needs. That's basically what it is. Trade Ideas is a tool, and just like with any other tool, a tool requires a user to put forth action to achieve desired result, right? So I'm in no way saying that Trade Ideas is like the holy grail to making millions of dollars, right? But as the user, it is a really great tool for me to help get desired result, right? After I put forth my action and stuff. So what this is going to be is how I use this tool to help me put forth the action to achieve desired result. Obviously this is paired with a lot of other things in a, you know, the day-to-day setting. You know, I have news scanners and all other kinds of stuff. I just want you guys to know that the custom scanners, the link will be in the description, so if you wanted to import it really quick and follow along, feel free to do that. Or at the end of the video when you're done, if you do want the free custom scanners, go ahead, check them out on the description below. That's where they will be. Well, Thiz, what is the action? You guys have heard me talk a lot the last couple weeks about setups, which other people may call their system, and in this case scenario that would be your action, right? So Trade Ideas tool, system, setups, how you execute those action. And so in a sense, we're using Trade Ideas to get exactly that, maybe ideas for a trade, find our setups, right? Find our setups, and if it fits our criteria, you know, if it's like, hey, if we're like, hey, that's the setup, put forth our action, achieve result, right? Very rarely do you get a tool and it's just like immediately giving you result, like just straight money. You know, there has to be some kind of action. We're going to talk about some of my setups and how I use this to find those setups. I encourage you guys to keep that in mind. You know, you need to know what your system is, you need to know what your setups, or else you're not going to know what the hell you're looking for, right? I know what I'm looking for, and this helps me find what I am looking for. And so for the sake of a better understanding, we're going to talk a little bit about, real quick, about what my setups are. That way you get a better idea of how I'm using this to find those, etc. And so a lot of you know, obviously, we do like flags, right? But it doesn't always have to take the form of a flag. You know, I'm really just looking to join a trend on the first or second pullback, you know, when it's not super extended yet, and be there for that next leg, or be there for that next 2 legs type thing. Just be there for the trend. And so that can take the form of a 5-minute flag, that can take the form of a pivot play, it could not look like either one. You know, we have some nice strong volume pushing up, low volume coming back down. This would be our first dip for this new trend, right? And so I like to try and catch this dip, right? You have pivots down here, so that could have been an idea too. But the idea is I'm joining the trend, so it doesn't always have to look like this. There's quite a few different kinds of setups it could look like, but the 5-minute flags, the pivot plays, the trend join longs, those are the setups that I am looking for. Here's, you know, before and after. You can kind of see, you know, I don't really fancy buying stocks when they're super extended. I'm not really into buying breakouts. That's not really my jam. You know, I want to be there for that move that people are typically buying on the breakout, right? So these nice first pullbacks on a new trend that usually take the form of 5-minute flag, pivot play, stuff like that. Okay, a few examples just to give you guys an idea. And the other setups that I really like to play are those parabolic shorts and those trend join backside plays as well. ABSI is honestly a really good example because this is something that was all over our scanners. We actually did play this long a couple of different times. You know, I believe here and here popped up on our scanners and let us know, hey, this play is getting volume, this play is getting momentum, and we were able to find our setup in that play it long, and we could have played it short. I'm not gonna say I don't think I actually did play this short. I think I missed this one, but you get the idea. A few more examples. It can look something like, it can look like this. It can also look like that. And you know, we have some backside plays thrown there which can look something like, you know, this, more parabolic shorts, you know, something like that.
Yo, what's up everybody?
Mikey with the surprise call during the YouTube video. Make sure you guys check out his content too. A lot of educational content there, great stuff. I'll put a link to his YouTube in the description as well. Alright guys, so our first bad boy that you're going to see whenever you open up the scanners is going to be this one.
The gap up scanner.
So this is, there should be like some holy music that plays whenever the gap up scanner comes out. When the gap up scanner shows up, it's just like, so you're going to see a couple things when you see the gap up scanner. A lot of good information here. Obviously, we got our ticker symbol column here, right? We got our ticker symbol column here. We have our price, our volume for today, our change from close, our gap percent, our float, our relative volume. And these are all really important things and really nice things to know. You know, sometimes the floats will be a little bit off. I still do look at, like when I go through the list and I find the ones I really want, I still go through on FinViz and look at their floats and stuff. This is a really important scanner. This is the first scanner that we look at when we wake up in the morning. We wake up in the morning, we open our setups, we have our coffee, we open the gap up scanner, cue the sound, right, and then we get to work. When I wake up in the morning and I look up my gap up scanner, that is the first thing, like I said, that I look at. It's basically telling me, hey, this stock is up from its previous close. So I want to go through, I want to see, hey, why are these things up? So I'm going through, I'm typing in tickers, I'm reading their news, I'm looking at how much volume they got, I'm checking out their flow, you know what I mean, and starting to generate ideas. So as I'm going down this list, you know, on Friday, and I'm looking, you know, some of these names. So we're going on a list on Friday morning. We got UBX, you know, has news. I think it had earnings or something like that. You know, and so as I start looking at this, I'm like, alright, 53 mil share flow, it's got a lot of volume, it's got range, there might be some possible opportunities here, right? However, I didn't wake up here at 6 in the morning to actually see this immediately on scanners. I woke up somewhere over here. And so at this point, you know, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe too extended. I like the volume, we'll keep it on watch. We had, you know, kind of like a daily pivot going on over here, which it, you know, kind of failed to stay above and ultimately faded pretty much all day. So, you know, that could have been an idea there for the short. But, you know, in this market, guys, I'll be honest, I'm like 70-30 long right now. So I'm looking for more of the long setups. So we continue on down a list of the gap up scanner, right? We start finding some things. Like I said, I literally woke up like right here. And I come and I see V. I'm like, okay, V, what's V got going on? You know what I mean? And so we see, you know, V had some stuff going on, some news, some earnings. So we see V on our gap up scanner, and what happens? It puts in one of my setups. Beautiful setup, phenomenal setup, right? Big volume push, low volume pullback. We had VWAP right here, which is what I added off of, but I kept in mind that we, you know, had a 5-10 pivot. But I had it in my head that, you know, I really don't want to see it test this. I want to see it hold here. Trade ideas, the gap up scanner put this on my radar. I went through, I was looking at what had volume, I was looking at what had gapped up. I found a setup, I attacked the setup. We got, you know, like $1 a share out of the play. I'm not gonna lie and say I held it into open. I shaved it up here. When there is a name off the gap up scanner and I'm going through and I'm looking at these names, I might be thinking in my head, hey, could this setup, one of my setups, later on? Could this put in a parabolic short? Could this have some kind of trend join long, or backside trend join as well, where it would still be worth it? Because some of the names, right, they just aren't worth it. So trying to find the ones that are worth it, which ones could set up, and I keep those on radar, and I usually will throw those on like a little watch list to keep track of throughout the day. And then as soon as I feel like, you know what, they no longer could put in a setup for me, I'll get rid of the name, and throughout the day, we'll go through here, and instead of filtering this by volume, which by the way, you guys can double click your volume, filter by smallest volume, filter by biggest volume, you filter by price, right? You can click on all these and filter however you want to. Typically I like to filter mine by volume, like highest volume first, especially in the morning, and go through that. I do make sure to go down the list and really look through the names that once we start getting under a mil volume, I'm not typically really interested, but I do make sure I go through a good majority of these names if I have the time to in the morning. If I don't have a lot of time, I make sure to at least focus on the top volume names that could potentially set up, and I'll move those to my other thumbnail monitors right here. Throughout the day though, I do like to go over here and filter things not by volume but by change from close, because you can you'll see some new names start popping up towards the top, and we can kind of go through those, maybe try and find other setups. I like to go through to get a kind of different perspective. I even like to filter things by relative volume. Start just going through these names. The idea is, hey, let's type in some tickers, especially if all of my top watches are really in a spot where there's just not a lot going on, or they're still setting up. I will take I don't just run off and have a wank. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm typing in tickers, we're trying to find other setups that might be under the radar to get that first pullback, that second pullback, right? And so that brings us into our next scanner, and this one, guys, is going to be none other than
the high of day momentum scanner.
This scanner, guys, I really couldn't tell you if the gap up scanner or the momentum scanner give me more value. I use the gap up scanner every day, and it's literally a part of my routine. But this scanner right here, man, it really is the truth. I mean, it's so simple, but good God, man, it has helped me make so much money. I think a lot of people kind of glance over it because they don't really have the right thought process about it, or like how they're using it just isn't maybe they're not they don't have the right approach or something like that. Similar columns as you see on the gap up scanner, but this time we have time, float, symbol, price, volume today, and then change from close, relative volume. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't necessarily pay a what the fuck, dude, what is that? I don't necessarily pay a ton of attention to all this other info over here, like change from close, relative volume. I probably should, but for the way that I use it, I want to know the price, the volume, right, the float. These are things that are like base criteria for me, like I don't want to play something that's 1.8 billion float. Like, I don't want to typically I like to stick in that $1 to $5 range. If something's really popping up with the scanner multiple times and it's $10, we'll go check it out. If it has volume, that's a plus. If it has a little volume, so like 1.8 mil, like if it's starting to get some volume, maybe something is starting to set up. So I'm interested in that as well. But whenever something actually hits this scanner, there is a woman's voice that says the ticker symbol, which can be really funny at sometimes with some ticker names. So even if you have the headset on and you have to go take a leak real quick, you could be doing your thing and you can hear what's coming through the scanner, and you can just tell. Like, if something just hits the scanner, it's like AHL. That's one thing. But there are times where something will come through that scanner and it'll be like AHL, and it'll just be like a million times, and usually a pretty big stick, a pretty big candle, because basically what this is doing, guys, is alerting you when something is hitting high of day. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not the savviest when it comes to making the custom scanners, but these are the ones that I have accumulated from other multi-millionaire momentum traders, and these are like the best ones, and this is how I use them. You guys can change the gap up scanner as well, and let's say you don't want to see stocks that are up to $100, you can change this to 25, 10 even, and you will only see things that pop up to that price range. And then you have other things you can change here as well. I love them just the way they are. I honestly will probably use them like this for quite some time. I see no need for me to adjust them, but if you guys do, just right click them, click configure. You can go through there and mess with them. You can go through the strategies and mess with those. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna leave everything the same. the gap up scanner is so nice because anything that is hitting high of day is going to come through that scanner. The reason this is significant is because if I hear something hitting high of day, like I said earlier, if nothing is going on with the main watches, even if something is going on with main watches and something just floods that scanner, you know, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna see what's going on. And there are a lot of times where that really it really pays. You know, for instance, this was FRGE. This name was just popping up on the scanner, and you know, once it started pulling back, it was no longer on the scanner. But because it popped up on the scanner, and because we had these kind of like IPO theme going on, because we had that kind of theme going on with these names, I was interested because I was like, okay, you know, this is a pretty clean chart over here, not a ton of action. This could be something new. Right? Put in a pretty big leg from 449 to 616s. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start looking for some kind of flag, some kind of pullback. It gave it to us. We got long literally down here and got an insane freaking move. Right? And so it's nice for finding the setups on the long side, like especially the like new trends, right? If you could just hear something a couple times, and it's never a bad idea to go check it out and see if maybe if it fits some kind of theme or something like that. But also, you know, names like BBBY on Friday, you know, that's going to be lighting scanners up. Right? And so even though I'm using the scanner to look for potential long setups, at the same time, because it's alerting me when something is hitting high of day, it's also notifying me when a potential parabolic short could be coming in. And so it's like this just amazing thing. I mean, I can't stress it enough. A lot of people probably don't use it like I do, but literally this is so freaking nice, man. I walk around quite a bit throughout the day. It's kind of cool if, you know, I know that something is near highs and maybe I'm waiting for it to break out and I hear it just start flooding that scanner, you know, I can like run back to the setup or something like that. But it really helps me find a lot of parabolic short setups. It really helps me find a lot of early trend long setups. And so that is what I pretty much use this for. I use it to help me stay in the know of like what's getting volume, what's on scanners, keep an idea of that. If I see something and it's getting volume and I really don't know why it's getting volume, that's when other things come into play, like social media or my news scanner. I go through there and type the name in and try and figure out what's going on and start developing this idea or maybe some kind of, you know, maybe some kind of trade. The idea is, hey, you have something that can really help you stay in the know of what's going on, help you start to generate that trade idea, right? The high day momentum scanner, this is literally one of my favorite scanners. This is like my bread and butter. This is probably where I find the most value as far as finding my setups intraday. Because here's the thing is, especially lately, there have been a lot of like under the radar kind of setups and plays, you know. And for a lot of those setups are moving a lot cleaner than some of these, you know, top gapper like highest volume names. So it's been really nice to have, especially in this market. Amazing scanner. These two scanners right here paired next to each other, honestly, you could use these two and it would still, like just these two scanners alone, in my opinion, for how I trade or my setups, I would pay for trade ideas just for these two scanners right here. Now, when we start getting into a crazier market where there's a lot of FOMO, you know, naturally what happens in the space is that you get a lot of people that start pumping stocks. You know, it's you know, it is what it is. It's out there, it's happening, and you can figure out how to maneuver that kind of back end and play that, right? Whether it be hey, I know people are going to react this type of way, so let me maybe look for a dip, or hey, I also know people are going to react this kind of way and maybe there'll be a big dump and you can start planning your short. And so not only do the scanners we just talked about help you find those setups, specifically the high day momentum scanner, so do these. And so the last two scanners that you'll find in the custom scanners, it's not like a pack, I don't even know if I'd call it a package, this is the one that I use, okay? So these scanners are very situational. I have them up all the time. I do look at tickers that are coming through there. But when you have so much momentum that's happening and so many opportunities that are actually on volume, there's not necessarily a big need to be looking for a lot of stocks here. When you start diving into a sympathy market like we had in 2021, first quarter 2021, that is when these scanners really came into play. These are basically front load scanners, right? And there were a lot of plays where people were like starting to front load, they would alert their chat room, there'd be a massive move because there was so much FOMO in the market. And we were getting a lot of like sector rotations, so people were rotating into like China EDUs and then going back into like NFTs and then going into semiconductors, right? And so that is where these scanners came into play for me. The runner is a little bit different. You will see like your day-to-day names. This is pretty much like, hey, this is getting volume. So basically, guys, these are just showing you something that's getting higher than average volume, and then the parameters on this, my version of the runner scanner, is just real loosened, right? Like, I mean, so much comes through this scanner, you know. So if we start getting some crazy meme theme, I might start seeing names come up here that are getting front loaded on smaller volume before I see them on the high day momentum scanner, or before I see them, you know, on any other scanner. They will more than likely be here. Like I said, this is more for like a sympathy market. I keep the runner up and I do pay attention to that one. But as far as the other one, if we get into a market where there's a lot of pump and dump action going on, I do like to have them both up, because it's made me money in the past, you know what I mean? So it's like, why would I not have something up if I know that at some point in time it could make me a lot of money? So if you guys are interested in the custom scanners, they will be in the description below. Absolutely free. You guys don't have to pay me nothing for them. Just take them, go make money, whatever. And I hope you guys enjoyed this short little video explaining how I use trade ideas, and maybe it can open up some kind of perspective or some kind of thought for you on how you can use trade ideas, or maybe how you can use it a little bit better. Or maybe you're like, dang, I just, you know what I mean? Maybe you're just like,
Damn, man, I never thought about it like that.
and then you can go and make money, you know? But like I said in the beginning of the video, I mean, it's a tool, and like any tool, there needs to be a user that puts forth some form of action to get desired results. So keep that in mind, and keep that in mind when you get any kind of service or any kind of trading tool. It is a tool. Don't expect these things to bring you, you know, like it's not that easy. Okay, so much love. Hope everybody has a good week, and I'll see you guys with another video next week. Peace. If you guys aren't already following me on Twitter, go hit your boy with the follow. You know, I upload a lot of educational stuff here as well. And you know, I'm trying to get that sense of community back. So we might start doing some streams or something like that, a couple days a week, live trading. Drop a comment below if you guys would be interested in that. Trading can be lonely, and I want to kind of give people a spot or a place or a community where we can kind of do it together and have fun together.